Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 5 of the Peak Nutrition Podcast. Today is a little bit special because I'm actually tuned in from Bali, so I'm enjoying my holidays, but it is a bit of a working holiday, so I'm slumming it at the minute, so I'm just turning the camera around for anyone who's got the video footage on YouTube. And if you're listening on podcast, I do have a YouTube channel as well, if you wanted to check that out. I'm expecting quite a few unfollows after that. Anyway, I digress. What were you going through today? So today I wanted to talk about accountability. Now I think in all areas of health and fitness, accountability is such an important aspect and something that people get so wrong when they don't apply it correctly. It's quite a common pattern when I first speak to people when they sign up, and I'll ask them like, why did you actually sign up with me in the first place? Like, why did you ask for help? And almost always they will mention accountability as one of the reasons. I think there's just so many instances where people know what they should be doing, they just don't get around to it. And I feel like accountability is the missing link there, because without accountability, it's just a bit of a pipe dream. There's no strategy, there's no reason to actually get it done. Whereas if we've got accountability, it greatly increases the chances of success with whatever habit or behavior that you're trying to change. A really good example of this is the New Year's resolutions. Now, how many of you have set a resolution of like, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to start exercising, start running, and then almost always by start of February, these resolutions have gone down the toilet, haven't they? I know this is probably triggering a couple people. The reason that so many of these resolutions fail is because of a lack of accountability. So how can we add accountability? Well, today I've got 5 areas to go through with you. So the first area is to involve other people. If it's just yourself, it's very easy to just kind of ignore it, because if you don't do what you said you're going to do, no one really knows. The world still carries on spinning and you just go back to normal. Nothing lost, nothing gained. But when you're involving other people, often it's a lot harder to let others down than it is just yourself, because then someone else knows that you've not done what you wanted to do. There's a few ways we can look at this. Firstly, we can actually do the behaviour with someone else. So if it's going to the gym, we could get a training partner. If it's running, we could join like a running club. If it's healthy eating, we could try and do it with a friend or a family or a work colleague, something like that. That's obviously the most direct way, but then we can also do it a little bit more subtly, where we just tell other people around us what we're up to. So it might be, again, involving your work colleagues, it might be the people you live with, or I have heard of some people doing like an accountability buddy where they both check in with whatever they're up to. Any way to involve other people just makes it so much more likely that we will actually achieve what we set out to do. The second area is getting more specific. Now again, how many of you have set vague goals of eating better, losing weight, getting healthy? While these are well intentioned, they just lack any kind of strategy or application. So we need to get much more specific. So instead of, I'm just going to eat healthy, could we go, I'm going to eat a portion of protein with every main meal? Could we say, I'm going to add a serving of veg, or cook 3 meals from scratch this week? Getting a lot more specific with exactly what you're going to do. Similarly, if it's a training session, we could be like, instead of just I'm going to train more, we'd say I'm going to train on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday at the gym, then I'm going to go for a run on Friday. And the more specific we can get here, the better. So can you name an exact location that you're going to do it? Can you state the exact day and time? Or if it's a food, the exact foods you're going to change? Just things like that. I feel like you get my drift. The next area that's really useful is actually tracking your progress. So being aware of how well you're doing. Can you make some sort of habit tracker? This is something that is within my coaching platform. So we've got a little tick box for each day that they tick it off, and you can see your streak and actually get some data on what's going well and what isn't. Because it's very easy in your head to be like, oh yeah, I think I'm doing that, or vice versa, to be like, oh no, I didn't do that at all. But then when we actually look at the data, it tells us a lot more information. So I'd really recommend finding some way to see how well you're doing the thing. A little bonus tip around this is putting it somewhere on display. So for example, I've had clients who print off a little, like an Excel spreadsheet type thing, and they'll stick it to the fridge and have that visual representation, and then every time they're walking past, they see it, and it's a bit of a stimulus to like remind them to do it. And that flows nicely onto the next area, which is specifically setting reminders. So that could be putting it in your calendar, it could be setting phone alarms at certain intervals, so that this just gives us another trigger or another cue to do the behaviour. So I'd definitely recommend trying to set some kind of reminders. And then the final one is a bit of a plug for what I do, and it is hire a coach. Because hiring a coach involves so many of those different areas. We're involving other people, we're tracking progress, we're setting reminders, So within my service, as I mentioned at the start, accountability is such an important part. So I've designed my P&T coaching program to have so many different layers of accountability. So like I said before, we do have a habit tracker, so we can actually monitor whatever habit they're trying to build. I'll regularly message clients if we have set a bit of a behaviour goal. I'll check in with them to see how it went. Similarly, we've got our weekly review form, and this is an opportunity for you to reflect on your progress, establishing what went well and what didn't, but then get into an actual root cause of why. And you also know that whatever goal we've set is going to be monitored. So again, this is layering in so much more accountability. So finally, we do have the coaching calls, and this is like a Zoom conference call type thing, where we'll run through exactly what they're up to, how they're doing, and then start to problem solve from there. I do want to stress that this isn't about me looking over your shoulder and being like a teacher going to tell you off. It's very much just monitoring how you're doing, seeing if you follow through with what you said you're going to do. But if you didn't, it's not that I'm going to tell you off. We actually just explore why, and could we set a better goal, something that you're actually more likely to achieve, and if we need to change our approach, then that's why we do that. So in summary, accountability is so important for improving your health and fitness, or just any kind of like habit formation or behaviour change in general. It's such a missing link when people do set out on their own. So if you are someone who feels like you do need a bit more accountability, you feel like you probably know what to do, you just don't get around to doing it, then the P&T program could be exactly what you're looking for. And if you're interested in finding out more information about the program, I will put a link in the show notes to a Google Doc which goes through exactly how it works, who I help, the kind of things we work on, and then all the sort of admin details. So if you are interested in that, head down to the show notes and check it out. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your weeks. I'll enjoy Bali, and I'll probably speak to you next time from bright and sunny England. Stay safe.